said, Lord, I've been shaken like a leaf. How can I relate to you? You're so big. Just jump in, he said. Stop trying to figure out how I work. Trust me. Don't act like I'm no bigger than your thoughts. You measure speed and distance by the speed of light. I can walk faster than that. I'm much bigger than your problems.
Thanks for joining us on Life Journeys, a podcast about thriving through the worst pain that life brings. With global initiatives threatening big changes to our way of life, we're going to need to activate Jesus' words about mountain-moving faith. Words That Work is the ongoing series on Life Journeys that is rooted in releasing revelational words of faith that will work every time and with everyone. It's about moving the mountains that keep us from the presence and goodness of God. It's about defining our life purpose and identity through encountering Him until we have the power to move the obstacles that are destroying our liberty and hope.
One day in my anxiety and grief, I sat alone and prayed to the One who has created all that is in the heavens and in the earth and every living thing. He's measured the expanse of the universe with its untold galaxies in the span or width of His hand. This is the God that has made you and I a promise. The prophet Isaiah said, "To whom then will you liken God? Or what likeness will you compare Him to?" You see, faith rises mightily when we think of the greatness of this God who has made us a promise. Yet within hours or less, the heart can again be trembling with anxiety or anger or sorrow. But He knows. A few months ago, I was hit with 3 huge assaults. I was being bounced back and forth from one direction and then the other. But the day before it all began, God knew it. He came down mightily in His presence to lift me up. Afterwards, I understood He was saying, I'm here with you now, and I'm going to go with you through your coming trial. I know you won't find comfort in my presence when you get into the heat of battle, but I've come to you anyway, that you may know today that I have come to comfort you even in those times where you don't know how to let me help you. I knew you would fall in fear and anxiety. I knew you would be shaken like a leaf, even after all that I have done for you over so many years. But you see, I won't ever give up on you. He continued, there's still much you need to learn, and you will learn more through this lesson. You'll learn that I bring victory in the worst places of tragedy and torment. You will learn that to follow me in the heat of battles like this, you must take up your cross. Not your prayer cloth, not your book of promises, and not your confessions of faith. You must be crucified to your own life, your own resources and means of hope, and your own glory. Then you will learn again that I am the great God of eternity that has made you so many promises. Though you forget them often, I will never forget. You and I have learned that we're trying too hard to be what we are not. I learned that. You can believe no deeper than you're willing to forsake faith in yourself and this world. As I pondered the greatness of God, and that He has known me, I imagined that He summoned angels to whom He said, "Go, stand alongside Terry Hardica, and keep him from falling. He's going into battle. The fire will get much hotter than usual, and I'm going to teach Terry some things that will keep him on the pathway." See, way too often I think He must be disappointed with me, and the truth is it's just my disappointment with myself. He doesn't hate me just because I hate myself. In fact, Jesus said, "He who hates his life shall find it." God's going to take care of this. He's God. That's what a God does. It's what makes Him deity in part. It's just that he's going to do it his way, and I might not always like it, but his way is going to be far better than my way. One day he'll judge the world. What man, what enemy, or what government's corrupt politician or judge can say that? The nations are less than nothing to him. It means he has no intention of inquiring of them how he should superintend the affairs of the earth. Isaiah talked about that. Jesus walked on water, through walls, and calmed storms, demons, and diseased men. He spoke and created the light, mankind, and all the goods of the earth for us to call our own. Time itself exists within himself. He is not bound by it. This is the God who made promises to us. Yet we doubt him, argue with him, and even deny he exists. John was on the prison island of Patmos when Jesus appeared behind him. He heard the voice as of a trumpet, and he turned and saw the Lord in such majesty that he fell as though dead. He would then be taken to heaven in a vision and shown the throne from where each of us was first born before time began. This is the God who made me a promise to be with me, keep me, protect and provide for me, and take me home one day. Yep, heaven is my home, where I will live with God forever. It's he that sits upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers. He that stretches out the heavens as a curtain and spreads them out as a tent to dwell in, that brings the princes to nothing, and makes the judges of the earth as vanity. You see, disease rises up and says, "Serve me." Thoughts of rejection, trauma, and trouble rise up daily to demand my allegiance. "Serve me," they say. "I will destroy you. Your life will end in destitute poverty, disease, and loneliness." But God says, "Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flies by day, nor for the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor for the destruction that wastes at noonday." The voices call out in the night, "You can't believe God. It's impossible. He doesn't really care about you. He doesn't care what you're going through, and he's certainly not going to help you." But he says, "My covenant I will not break, nor alter the thing that has gone out of my lips." This great creator and king, the one who walked with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, who stopped lions, who sits enthroned by the cherubim, he knows my name. He knows my fears. He understands every fault I have and how he's going to overcome it. This God of all that exists knows my thoughts, dreams, intentions, and every obstacle that tries to bar my way to him. I remember God asking Job, "Does the rain have a father?" God is greater than man. Why do you strive against him? For he doesn't give account of any of his matters. He keeps back man's soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. All these things works God oftentimes with man to bring back his soul from the pit. How can a mere man relate to such a great God? How can he do anything but believe him? I can do nothing less than utterly believe God no matter what happens in this world. The world itself is as nothing compared to his deity. How is it that I still struggle to turn it all over to God? Is anything too hard for the Lord? With God, nothing is impossible. The word impossible doesn't exist in heaven. My unbelief denies deity. It stands over against the truth of the universe. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in the earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. and he is before all things, and by him all things consist. This is the God who made his presence known to me a few months ago, just before a great trial began. He knew. He cared. He came. And I learned. I also remember that when I awoke in the middle of the night and the fears came flooding back, he said, "Keep your eyes on me." Sleep then came quickly. He's even watching over me in the middle of the night. It's so easy and natural for me to look at my earthly circumstances and relationships and family situations to determine my mental, emotional countenance. But if I make any of these my primary or significant source of well-being, my success and failure ratio is going to be on the wrong side of living in victory. Anything other than the fullness of God and living Christ is going to find me utterly defeated sooner or later. When I don't get my way in life circumstances, how I react will not reveal my maturity and emotional control. It will reveal who my God really is. Do I pout? Agonize in make-believe conversations? Live in fear, sorrow, or anger? Am I miserable when I feel my things or relationships are threatened? I may for a season, but it becomes a life-controlling issue from which I make bad decisions or vows. And then it's clear. Jesus is not my Lord. I'm not letting him save me from myself, devils, and the world. You see, he's big enough, easily, to be in every hospital room with every frightened mother, with every child who goes out the front door, with every grieving spouse, in every foxhole, every ghetto, every homeless shelter, and in every alley. Don't act like your God is no bigger than your thoughts. One of my bottom lines is simple in relation to God's challenge. It's from the Word. It says, "To whom will you then liken God?" Or what likeness will you compare him to? How am I comparing my challenges to the reality of God? What is my greater influence? My trials or my Creator? God being my greater reality, being bigger than all the problems I can or cannot see, doesn't mean he's going to solve all my problems by making them go away. Sometimes it just means that his glory is so great that it swallows up everything else in front of me. This simply means that my faith doesn't have to decide what God must do. It must just release my vision that I may see him. I need to be more like the man with a bunch of frustrating little problems, and then someone comes up to him and hands him $10 million, and suddenly his problems seem like nothing. Yet, God has handed you and I so much more. It seems that I'm discovering how the soul of a man cannot be whole without being filled with the fullness of God. Then God spoke to me, "You can't begin to put into your thoughts how big I am. I am so far beyond human comprehension that it's folly to think that you could put all the knowledge of me into that tiny 10-pound mass you call your brain. I can only be experienced in my word and my spirit. You can't encompass me. I encompass you." And so I said, "Lord, how can I relate to you? You're so big." "Just jump in," he said. "Stop trying to figure me out and how I might solve your problems. Just trust me. My solutions are too vast for you to even worry or wonder about. Trust me. You measure distance by how far light travels in a year. I measure one end of the universe to the other by the span of my hand. You measure speed by what you call the fastest a thing can travel, the speed of light. I can walk faster than that. You wonder when. I live outside of time itself. Come, live with me there, by faith. Stop measuring your problems by what you can do, and then believe that I measure them by what I can do. Then stop worrying, because your problems are my solutions. I've already transformed them. This is the place where you will find peace in me.
You can unlock the presence of God in your life. There are revelation principles that remove the mountains, keeping us from joy, hope, peace, and purpose when our world gets turned upside down. Look for these words that work with Pastor Hardika as he shares what has helped him when life got hard. And don't forget to check out his book, The Fortress and the Firebrand, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Thanks for listening to Life Journeys.
I said, Lord, I've been shaken like a leaf. How can I relate to you? You're so big. Just jump in, he said. Stop trying to figure out how I work. Trust me. Don't act like I'm no bigger than your thoughts. You measure speed and distance by the speed of light. I can walk faster than that. I'm much bigger than your problems.